Hi, ladies and gentlemen. This is Karen Jackson, and we are live at the Teach-a-thon. And I have my friend, Dr. Desiree Alexander, and she has so graciously agreed to appear uh, with us. We know each other. We met at TCEA, and we're both Google innovators. And once you become an innovator, there's kind of a bond that you have when you find out someone else is. So I just was so happy that she agreed to come talk to us today. And she has a very special message just for Teach-a-thon folks. Okay. Thank you, Dr. Desiree Alexander.
All right. Hello, everyone. I know we are all over the globe. So, good morning, good afternoon, good night. But thank you for being here with me for this hopefully inspirational keynote, and that is pick up your mat and walk. So, I was born to a military father and a loving mother in Belgium, Europe, because my dad was in the military. So, but when I was born, I was also born with a cleft lip and a cleft palate. So that's when you have your mouth is open. There's like no skin there, and the top of your mouth is open. So when I was born, the doctor told my mom a couple of things that she can kind of ready herself for. He said that I would most likely have a speech impediment, which I did. I took speech most of my years of grade school, right? He said that my teeth would be horrible, and he was right. My teeth would like talk to each other and fight each other. It was horrible. But you know how those models like they guarantee their legs and their arms. I wish I could guarantee my mouth. Like if somebody was going to hit me, I'm like, not in the mouth. I spend too much money on these teeth. And he said that I would most likely be teased or bullied. And I was just kind of your I hate to say normal teasing. But I did go through that type of thing as well. But one of the things he told my mom that kind of stuck with me, like this stuff, I'm like, okay, great. He was actually right. But one of the things that he said that really, really stuck with me throughout my life was he told my mom not to expect much of me. Not to expect much of me. And what the doctor did when he did that is he put my mom in a space to put me in a space and keep me there, almost like putting me in a box. And what I want to talk about today are some of those boxes that we put ourselves in. I call them mental mats. So some of us feel like this.
Whoa, that's not good.
Oh, I don't need this. I'm already late.
Somebody will come. Anybody out there?
Do you have a phone?
No. Sorry. Somebody! Hello? There are two people stuck on an escalator and we need help. Now, would somebody please do something? I don't believe this. You gotta be kidding me.
So some of us feel like that, right? Like we're stuck. But just like in the video, many times we can get ourselves out of that situation. But we sit and we wait for situations to happen. We wait for other people to help us, but we can get ourselves out of that situation. We can get ourselves off of that mental mat. So what is a mat? When you think about a yoga mat, an exercise mat, it's something that keeps us in place, right? You stand on it to help you not slide all over the floor and help you not move. So that's what a mat does. That's the purpose. It's also that cushion that keeps us away from something harder, right? So that's what that mat does. So when we're talking about a mental mat, what are those things that keep you in place? What are those things that don't allow you to go for it, that don't allow you to achieve what you really want to achieve out of this world? It could be, different things that help us stay comfortable, because that mental mat does help us. It gives us a comfort, even though we may not think of it that way, but it does. It keeps us in the same spot and we feel safe there. So some of the things that it may be is, even though it makes us feel comfortable, it keeps us in a mental prison, right? It keeps us there and we sometimes don't see a way to get out. It's almost like an addiction that we go back to. We go back to those same places on our mental mat. And some of the things that keep us there may be other people or ourselves. Sorry about that. So it may be situations. That's my phone is apparently going to keep ringing. It may be different situations in our lives, and it may be the age-old fear, right? So fear keeps us on our mental mat so much. So sorry. I wish I could turn that off. It's going to go off. There you go. But fear keeps us on our mental mat so much. And fear was the thing that kept me, or is the thing, right? Because we keep going back. Even I keep going back to that mental mat. But fear keeps us there. And my fear wasn't kind of the fear of starting or the fear of accomplishing something. It really was the fear of finishing. So anytime I started something, I was fine. I was like, yeah, let's go. I'm motivated. I would make little checks to make sure that I was still, flowing through it. But every time I got to that finish line, every time that project was almost over, I got stuck because that fear started coming in. And I knew that very soon I had to answer two questions. One, what do I do next? Right? And then two, was what I'm doing, was it a success or was it a failure? And it just made me stop and I would start procrastinating. I wouldn't get stuff done. And I had to realize what is happening when I do that? Why, what is it? And I decided that was my mental mat. It would stop me every single time. So I want to talk to you about 3 things that you can do to not only recognize what your mental mat is, but to actually get beyond it, to pick up that mat and start walking. The 3 things I want to talk to you about is to be you, do you, and activate you. And I know when we hear activate you, it almost sounds like the Terminator, okay? But that's exactly what I want it to sound like. That's exactly what I want you to be when you leave here. I want you to be so activated. I want you to be so motivated. I want you to be so inspired that nothing can stop you. That you have that end goal. And I don't know if you've seen Terminator or not, but you have that end goal. And that is what you're going to no matter what gets in your way. And that's what I want to happen for you. Be you. So one of the worst things that we do, just from this whole presentation, one of the worst things that we do is compare ourselves to others. Think about that. When you compare yourself to other people, it only makes you mad or sad, right? It never turns out well. It either makes you mad because I don't have what they have, or it makes you sad because I can't, quote unquote, get what they have. And it just never helps. So, we've all had that day when we sat in our classroom and we packed up our little bag, right? And we zipped our little bag up and we said, the rest of this can burn down, right? I'm done. I'm done with this. I'm done with this school. right? I know I paid for all these posters on the wall, but they can burn down too. I don't care. I'm ready to go. And then you get up and you go to your door, and right when that little voice says, like, oh, it's not, it's not that bad. You just had a bad day. You open the door and you see Miss Smith walking down the hallway, and you see her kiddos walking behind her. And she's like, yes, go, boys and girls. And the kids are like, yes, we love you, Miss Smith. And you're like, that's why I'm leaving right there. That's why I'm leaving. Because you start comparing yourself to that amazing, awesome teacher, right? But what you don't know is Miss Smith had your day 2 days ago. Okay, that's what you don't know. And she took yesterday off, and that's why she's here doing this today, because she did some self-care. So you don't know other people's true stories. You have to stop comparing yourself to others. Social media is a lie. Okay, stop looking at social media and thinking like, why don't I have that? Where is that for me? Half of the stuff with the guy and the wife and the 3.2 kids and them on a vacation that they can't afford. Stop it. Stop comparing yourself to those people. Okay? Because it's not your story and you don't know what they went through. But what I do want you to start thinking about is when you start feeling envious, because that's all it is. It's envy, it's jealousy, right? But when you start feeling envious, which is not a good look on anybody, but when you start feeling that envy tells you what you're passionate about. That envy tells you what you're passionate about. I don't have kids. I've never wanted kids. Okay, I feel like I have enough kids teaching. So when I see that family on vacation and the 3.2 kids, I'm like, you go, boy. You go, girl. Love it. Look how cute your kid is. I have no envy. I'm not comparing myself because that's not something that I want. But when I see somebody presenting at a conference, right? I'm like, wait, what conference is what? Where's my invitation to that? Right? I start that comparison because when you're envious, it tells you what you're actually passionate about. It tells you what you actually want in life. So when you start feeling that envy, when you start comparing yourself to others, start making some notes. So you know what? That's something I actually want. Whether I maybe I didn't know it, maybe I do know it. That's something that I actually want to achieve. Okay. And then we want to think about not letting other people's expectations guide you. So you hear it all the time, right? Like I got haters and the haters just fuel my strength. Yeah, it's awesome. Okay. I used to say like, you don't got hate, like nobody checking for you. But yes, you do have people in life that don't like you because you are achieving something. Not don't like you because you have a bad personality, but they don't like you because of what you're achieving. Yes, there are people in life like that. But what I want to warn you against is letting those people's expectations guide you and lead you. Because it sounds really good. It sounds like, yeah, I'm going to, I eat that few when they say negative things. Yeah, that's awesome. But I want you to lead you. Because even if you're letting those negative comments and the things that people say negatively fuel you, what's going to happen when they stop? What's going to happen when they're not there anymore? I've had a friend who wanted to become a doctor, has always wanted to become a doctor. And she just heard so much negative stuff throughout life, like, oh, are you sure that's for you? Blah, 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 right? And she let it fuel her. She would say, like, every time I hear something negative, I do more and I do better. Yeah, great. Until after she was done with everything and those people went away, she realized she didn't really want to be a doctor. She said it fueled her, and it's not where her life should have gone. And it's not what she really wanted to do, but she was letting others' expectations fuel her. Okay. So what she did was she actually made a mental map for herself and stayed right there without even looking around to see the other possibilities because she let those expectations guide her. I also want you to start self-analyzing. Start seeing, why am I not being myself in certain situations? Because a lot of times when we talk about imposter syndrome, right? That's questioning, why am I here? Right? Why am I here? Why am I in this place? Well, they don't really want to hear from me. I still suffer with imposter syndrome. I think everyone that I know, from big names on the stage to people just getting started, you always want to know, like, why me? Why not you? Okay, why not you fulfilling that dream? If other people can fulfill it, you can fulfill it. They do not have any magic that we know of. Okay, so if they can do it, you can do it. But I want you to start self-analyzing instead of looking at what they're doing and start letting them, say what you need to do. Start like, what do I actually want to accomplish? Because sometimes we put goals in place just to show them, or we put a goal in place for something that's so superficial, it's not even something we care about. So what do you actually want to do? We don't live this world in absolutes. Okay, we like to say, like, I am absolutely this or I'm absolutely that. You're not. We don't live this world in absolutes. One day I'm this and the other day I'm completely that. I am so contradictory. I tell people that all the time. I am a walking contradiction. I've learned to love that and to not see that as a hindrance. Okay, one day I'm like, no, we should not have all this violence on TV. And the next day I'm like, bring it on. I want to see everybody shot in the face. Not really, but you get my point. Okay, so embrace that. Embrace yourself. And when you start trying to live in absolutes, you're really doing it to prove a point. Stop it. Start self-analyzing yourself. When do I feel like myself? When do I not? And then why am I not being myself in that situation? And then I want you to do one thing every month. And this is just something I'm throwing in here. I want you to do one thing every month that makes you happy. One thing once a month. We all work so hard and we all go crazy. One thing once a month that brings you joy. And I don't care what that is. That could be going to the park and walking around. That could be hiding in the closet and watching the Kardashians. Whatever you want to do that makes you happy, do one thing. It's going to bring you joy. And what that's going to do is it's going to start building up what I like to call your tolerance to joy. Okay, it's going to start building up, because when you do it once a month, you're going to start looking and going, you know what? I want to do it again this month. And y'all may want to do it again the next month. And it's just going to start building up that tolerance of joy. And you're going to start seeking that more and more and making your life a little bit happier. The more you find that joy, the more you want to get up off that mental mat. The more you start looking around and stretching on that mental mat, and the more you start coming alive. Do you? So some things that I want you to start doing is watch the company that you keep. Not everyone in your circle is there for you. And that's just the truth. Right? Not being negative or anything like that, but it's a hard lesson to learn that not everybody in your circle, not everybody on social media, not everybody in your world wants to see you succeed. So you really want to start watching, who do I keep in my circle? Who do I tell my failures to? Because not everyone needs to know your failures, but also not everyone needs to know your successes. That's something I had to learn. Because I would get, an award or something just small would happen that was awesome. And I would want to tell people. And I started to notice, well, why am I walking away from this feeling bad? I just had something awesome happen to me. Why am I now walking away with that little seed planted that this is not as good as I thought it was? Or that little seed planted, that little seed of doubt. That's because of the people that you're telling your successes to. So watch for the company that you keep, okay? Because notice what I said. All those little negative comments or that little shade, it gets in there. And even if you're like, no, I'm confident, I'm the most confident person in the world, it gets in there. And when you go to sleep at night and you lay your head down, right, those little seeds start sprouting. That wasn't planted by you. That wasn't planted by something you did. That was planted by the company you keep. Start looking for those and start picking out those weeds. It's okay for you to take care of yourself and say, you know what? I may not be able to pick you out of my life altogether, but I know that you're not the person that I come to share with. Next, I want you to find your own passion. When I say passion, that's a different word than what brings you joy and happiness. A passion is something that if I gave you $1 million today, you would not stop doing. What is that passion? It may be education, it may be cooking, it may be sewing, it may be athletics, it may be a whole wide range of stuff. But start finding that passion in life, because that passion could lead to other things. But what are you truly passionate about? And don't care if it's not fitting into that mental map, because you're trying to get out of that anyway. So what is that passion that you have in life? If I gave you $1 million, what would you not stop doing? That's your passion. Go for it. Start exploring that a little bit more. And then, number one, stop being so hard on yourself, but then start helping others. Okay. Now, I've seen people and I've heard people, like when they're in their fields and they get to a certain level in their fields and they start saying, well, I'm not building up anybody else, right? I need to work on myself. I need to work on building up my company. I need to work on building up whatever I'm trying to accomplish. Yeah, that's all fine and good, but you have to help others. Helping others helps yourself. Okay. When you put that out into the world that you are helping, you get that back, because at some point in your life, you're going to need help. I don't care who you are or what you do. At some point, you're going to need help. So when you get to those small successes that we're going to talk about in a second, bring others along with you. There's enough space in this world for everybody. We do not have to fight. I do not have to diminish you in order for me to be better. I just don't. Okay? There's enough space in this world for all of us to succeed. But for that to happen, we all have to help each other. And I want you to think of one more thing when I talk about helping each other. Sometimes it's not about you. Okay? It's not about you. So with me and what I do, I present, I train. So sometimes if I see somebody else on that stage and they may be saying the exact same thing I said, I know in my heart that somebody in this audience needed to hear it from them, not from me. Because if you really care about the end goal, you're going to start learning that it's not about you. And I care about teachers getting what they need, not about it coming from me. And last but not least, activate yourself. So activate you. Number one, you do not need anyone to tell you to grow. You do not have to wait on that escalator and wait on that mental mat, waiting for someone to tell you that you can grow and be awesome. You take control of your own growth. You go find that training on your passion, on whatever you care about. You go take that first step and look like, what do I need to do to accomplish this very small step? I know I'm think big, start small. I know I want to be here. What's that first step? You don't have to wait for someone to tell you to do it. Just get up and do it. Okay? You control your growth. Just stop talking about it and be about it. We talk a lot. Okay, well, this is what I want to do, but this is why I can't do it, and this is blah, 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 blah. Okay, stop talking about it and take the first step. Stand up on that mental mat. You know what's holding you down, right? You looked at that. You self-analyze. You know what's keeping you there. Start fighting against it and start taking small steps to get off of that mat. And when you're taking those small steps, what I want you to do is I want you to think and I want you to celebrate every single success. Celebrate every single success. So you want to, of course, bring in that joy and bring in that that happiness. But when you do that, celebrate every small single success that you have. I don't care if you just dance in your room and do a happy dance. Celebrate that success. Because you know what? You weren't there before. Yesterday, you didn't have that success, but you have it now. And I don't care how small it is. It could be, hey, I just sent the email. That's all I did. I just sent the email to get started. You celebrate that doggone email because you didn't do it yesterday, but you did it today. So you celebrate every small success. You may celebrate it by yourself, but you celebrate it because that's one small step that you took to get out of that prison and to get out and off of that mental mat.
It's been said that the greatest disease affecting humanity is that feeling of I am not enough. The feeling of I am not enough can only exist by comparing yourself to another and living your life by expectations that aren't your own. Comparison is the thief of joy. If you want to use a great person to measure where you are in life and where you can be, sure, there's not a lot wrong with that. But don't be attached to the result. The only result you should be attached to is the result of you being better than you were yesterday, last week, last month, 1 year ago. Set your own goals based on what you want to achieve, not what the next door neighbor has, or the need to outdo a friend or a family member. Everyone is different and everyone can win. You will never win if you have your eyes on another person. You win your race by focusing on your own finish line. You win in life by being happy for others winning their race. And you giving your heart and soul to win your own race. It's you versus you. The battle is won or lost in your own mind. Comparing yourself to another is an insult to who you are. It's an insult to who you're going to be. You are better than that. You are unique. And that will always be your greatest power. That will always be what separates you from the rest. So be you. Focus on you. Focus on growing you, developing you, mastering your strengths, winning your own race. If others win their race, great. We are all here to win. And the moment you support others, support will come back to you. Don't go out to prove them wrong. Get out there and prove yourself right.
So you're on that mental mat and it's time to get off of it. It's time to take those first steps towards what you really want to do. But in order to do that, you need to focus on what is keeping you there and how you can fight against it. So as you go out to the rest of this amazing conference, and as you go out into your schools and your districts, I want you to think about this, and I want you to remember that you have the power in you right now to be you, do you, and activate you. You have it. There's nothing that you're waiting for. And then you will be able to stand up, pick up that mat, and walk. Thank you so much.
Yay! Okay. I'm clapping. I'm crying. Thank you so much.
Of course.
Thank you so much. This was great. I hope you have a fabulous day. Thank you. I'm gonna say goodbye. Nothing more I can say about that, folks. Thank you so much for coming to the Teach-a-thon. Keep an eye on the website for the rest of the stuff, the rest of the goodies.